Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, we have sophomore defenseman from the Merrimack Warriors, Liam Dennison. Liam, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Everything's great. We got the season coming up pretty quick, and I think we're all really excited to get going and just super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch you guys play. And how excited are you to play your first game in just a few weeks, and what are your thoughts on this upcoming season?
My thoughts, I'm definitely really excited to get going. We've obviously had the season pushed back due to COVID and whatnot, but all that aside, I'm really excited to get going, and I couldn't be happier that the season's right around the corner.
Yeah, and obviously Hockey East built in a lot of flex dates, and it's going to be a very flexible schedule, and we already saw that this week with a few games being postponed. How do you mentally stay prepared for that, knowing that the schedule will switch a lot during the year?
I think just like any other season, you got to be flexible. Like in a normal season, who knows what could happen? You could deal with injuries, you could deal with weather delays, like who knows? And I think this season's a bit unique in the fact that there could be worse delays and due to illness or whatever. But I think staying mentally prepared is something during a normal season you have to do anyway. And I think the approach for this season's a little bit different, but very, very similar.
Now, how was your quarantine in summer, and what did you do during those months to pass the time and prepare for this upcoming year?
Yeah, no, this off season definitely was quite different than ones in the past. I'm from Canada, and a lot of the summer gyms, as well as hockey rinks, were shut down, and so I had to get a little creative with my summer training this summer. I actually set up a home gym in my garage, and had my trainers email me workouts to do for like my workout program, but not being able to get on the ice was a bit difficult because the rinks were shut down. So I actually invested in a pair of Mars blades and was stick handling and skating around in my driveway also. Towards the end of the summer, stuff started to open up again, which was nice right before we got back to school. So I was able to get in the gym a bit and get on the ice for a few weeks before I came back. But basically this entire time we've been at school, we've been preparing for the season and skating and working out, which has been really nice. So it's almost been an extended off season, which has been kind of nice.
Is there an advantage to that, learning the systems more, especially for the freshmen coming in and trying to adapt to this new year? And do you think that will be an advantage for your team coming into before your first game?
Yeah, I think definitely that could be an advantage for us. We're a team that had a huge freshman class last year, and I think we have 6 or 7 new freshmen this season, and having the extra time to acclimatize to the college setting and even things like classes and just being a college student again and learning the systems, like you said, could really be a big help leading into their freshman season.
Now, I want to ask you, what's the big difference between at-home workouts versus being in the gym? And is there an advantage or disadvantage to that, or do you just try to find balance in both?
I found the biggest difference for me personally was at home I work out when things are normal and I'm in the gym. I have a workout group and my trainers. That was the biggest difference, not having them obviously in my garage working out by myself. I kind of miss that because I like being around the guys and working out in a group setting, and I miss that the most, not having other guys to work out with and kind of compete with on a daily basis.
Yeah, and talk about preparing for this season on the ice with your team, and how has it been different versus other seasons that you've prepared for, and what challenges have you faced and tried to overcome?
So to start, when we first got to school, we could only skate in our small cohorts. We couldn't skate with the whole team, and that was a bit of a challenge because you didn't get to skate with a lot of the guys you're used to skating with. And slowly, as time went on, we could skate with more and more people, and then really start working on systems and game-like situations. So that was the biggest thing. Another thing has been we've been wearing masks on the ice, which has been pretty unique because it makes the conditioning part of it a little bit more challenging. But I wouldn't really call that an obstacle. It's something we've definitely gotten used to, and we're prepared. So I feel really confident about this season, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, do you have to wear a mask during games or just during practices?
I don't want to answer that for sure, but I think that's where it is right now. I'm not 100% sure on the rule on that yet, but the entire time we've been at school, we've been wearing masks and preparing as if we are going to wear masks for the season.
Nice. And obviously, there won't be any fans in the arena during this year. Do you think the lack of fans will have any effect on your team?
Uh, I wouldn't like to think so. I think when we're on the ice, we're focused on what we're doing and keeping a lot of the outside noise out. And we're a pretty focused group, and we're not going to let something like that affect how we play.
How are you going to try to energize your team, though, without your home fans? Because I've been to a few Merrimack games. The fans there are pretty energetic, and they bring a lot of energy to your team, it seems like. How do you try to bring the energy on the bench with no fans?
Yeah, definitely. Our student section is really provides a really good atmosphere for our team, and but we're just going to do what we do best, and that's chip away and grind at teams. We're definitely not the most skilled team in Hockey East, but we're a team that does little things right, and we like to provide our own energy, and that's what we plan on doing this season.
Now, what's the biggest improvement you've made to your game, and what's the biggest improvement your team has made to their game?
I'd say for myself, it's just working on habits and being consistent night in and night out. And that's the thing I've been really working on this off season, as well as strength and my speed and skill. For our team, it's just growing closer every day, and that'll help us win games.
Now, how did the freshmen look like so far, and how are they adapting to the new team? And has it been hard for them knowing that a lot of the upperclassmen didn't have any experience what they're going through right now? Because I know you never experienced this coming into your freshman year. So how are they adapting to it, and how have you tried to help them through that transition?
Yeah, no, I think they've been adapting really well. All 6 or 7 of them have adapted really well and have looked really good on the ice so far from what I've seen. And I think the biggest thing that we've been trying to help the freshmen with is just feeling like they're right in there, right a part of the team, right? So we obviously haven't been able to be around each other as much as we normally would be in the start of a season, but we've talked a lot about being a good teammate, and our coaches talked a lot about having to work to actually being a teammate. And I think this might be one of the years where we've been the closest and we've spent the least amount of time, because we've actually had to reach out to each other and make sure we're all doing good. And it's forced us to really find new ways to communicate, because we haven't been able to see each other on a daily basis as much as we normally would be.
Now, being a sophomore on the team, what type of leadership do you want to bring, and what did you learn from leaders from the last year that will help your leadership for this year? And are you more of a vocal or lead by example type of player?
I'll bring leadership to our team by, like I said earlier, doing things consistently well and leading by example. I think I'm not so much a vocal leader, but I like to lead by showing people the right way of doing things. And that's how I plan on bringing leadership to our group this year.
Now, you play Maine in a few weeks. What do you expect from that team, and how do you defensively try to prepare for them?
So we played Maine last year. They were a pretty physical team. They have really good habits and do a lot of things well. They forecheck really well. And I think that's one thing being a defenseman and our defense core has to be really aware of, is their forecheck and their habits of what they do. They got some good skill and size. So that's another thing we got to be prepared for. And preparing for them, we're just going to focus on us, make sure that we got our systems down. We're going to make sure that everyone's mentally and physically ready to go, and just bring our best when we play Maine on December 4th.
Now, I want to start off talking about the beginning of your hockey career. You're from Manotick, Ontario. How did you start playing hockey, and how did you start falling in love with the sport?
Yeah, so I'm from Manotick, Ontario. I was actually born in Guelph, and then I moved to Manotick when I was really young. It's a small town just about 30 minutes outside of Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada. And my parents just put me in hockey. I've been skating ever since ever since I can remember. My grandfather, his name's Andy Van Helleman. He was a ref in the NHL. He's actually in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he was a big influence on me getting into hockey and skating. He'd take me to the rink when I was younger. And ever since I can remember, I've been on the ice, and my dad was a big influence in that too. Living in Manotick, we live on the river, and it would freeze over in the winter, and my dad would build me and my younger brother a rink to skate on in the winter, and we'd clear off the snow and skate on that basically till the sun went down. So Ever since I can remember, I've been on the ice, and I just really enjoyed skating and that sensation of like the cold air on your face and skating around the ice. And um, yeah,
Now, did you have a favorite player growing up, and what part of the game do you try to emulate to your game a little bit?
yeah. I think when I was younger, my favorite player was Drew Doughty. I went to a Guelph Storm game when I was younger, and he played junior for the Guelph Storm. And I really liked how he played. He was a offensive defenseman with a lot of skill, and I really liked how he played. Another player I really liked was Eric Carlson. Being from Ottawa, he's obviously was one of their, or probably was their best defenseman they've ever had, and I really liked his game too. The parts I like to emulate are the skating. They're both really smooth skating defensemen, and they're cool under pressure. And I like to try and incorporate that in my game. And also their first pass, like they're such good passers and making plays out of the zone. And I try to make that part of my game too.
And you played for Hill Academy. How did you get the opportunity to play there, and what did you take away from that experience?
Yeah, playing for the Hill Academy was definitely a great experience. I ended up playing there. I moved to Toronto when I was in grade 10 to play for the Don Mills Flyers in the GTHL. And after my year there, I played 2 years of prep at the Hill Academy. And that was probably a big thanks to Lindsay Hofford, and who ran the Hill Academy program, and also Doug Orr, who was my coach at the Hill. They extended the invite to play there, and it was really an opportunity I couldn't pass up. It's such a great program. They've had so many good players come out of there, like Mitch Marner and Michael Dalcole and Nick Ritchie. So, like I said, it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up just because it's such a good program, and they come down to Boston every weekend where all the NCAA schools are, and you learn how to ride the bus, which helps down the line in junior and in college. So it really prepared me well for college and junior.
You then went on to play for Youngstown in the USHL. What made you want to play in the USHL and take the college hockey route? And how did that experience help you prepare for college hockey?
Yeah, so I got drafted by Youngstown, and I went to their camp and ended up making the team. And I can say Youngstown was another really good experience I had for my 2 years while I was there. My first year, we ended up losing in the Clark Cup final, which was tough, but I mean, it was a really, really good experience. Youngstown's the most Eastern team in the USHL, and just learning, like I said, how to ride the bus. Like we'd have 20-hour bus trips, overnight bus trips to Fargo, North Dakota, which is pretty intimidating when you're a younger guy. But after a few years of doing it, you really learn how to play hockey while traveling, and learn how to be a junior hockey player. And I think it really prepared me well for college, because all the guys in that league are committed to some of the top Division I schools in the nation, and playing against those guys every night really prepares you for what college hockey is going to be like.
Yeah, and it must be nice now because the bus rides in Hockey East are not even as long as they are in the USHL. So is that nice for you? Like when you go down to like UMass Lowell, it's like a almost less than an hour bus trip.
Yeah, definitely. Like in Youngstown, I think our closest game was 3 hours away, and then the next closest after that was 7. So having these short bus trips in Hockey East definitely is pretty nice. I will say, though, that bonding on the bus with the guys in Youngstown was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sure was. Do you have any good bus stories you have?
I think just so on the long bus trips, it's called a sleeper bus, and it would have all the bunk beds on it. And then at the back, it would kind of have like a TV and a lounge. And we just sit back there with some of the guys after a game heading home. It was especially nice after a win. And you'd play cards and watch a hockey game or basketball game, whatever's on TV. And you just really learn to bond with the guys. And by the end of the season, you know everything about everyone, which is nice. So you really feel connected with the guys.
Now, I want to talk more about that Clark Cup finals you made with Youngstown. Talk about that final, and what do you remember from that, even though you lost?
The first thing that comes to mind is it was an unbelievable experience. The level of hockey and the pace of that hockey was really high, and it was a lot of fun to play. One thing I do remember about it was we started the series in Fargo, and we ended up splitting the series 1-1, coming back to Youngstown. And I remember we lost the first game, and the second game we played, we were winning, I think they scored to tie it with like 5 seconds, maybe like a very small amount of time to send it to overtime. And we didn't let it rattle us, which was nice. We went into overtime and ended up winning in overtime. And I think it showed a lot of resilience out of our team. And so then we headed back to Youngstown. And during the Clark Cup final, I think it was a late May or early June. And so it was pretty hot and humid outside in Youngstown. And our rink for game 3 and 4 of the series was fogging up. And so I remember sitting on the bench at one point and I couldn't see across to the other boards because there was so much fog in the rink and humidity. And so after almost every 5 minutes or every whistle, both teams would have to get on the ice and skate around the rink to try and clear the fog, which was I'd never experienced anything like that before. So that was pretty unique, especially in a setting like the Clark Cup final. But anyway, we ended up dropping both games at home and losing the series. But all in all, like that year and that playoff run was something I'll never forget.
I've never seen that happen before, the rink fogging up like that. So that must have been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Now talk about your recruiting process and what made you want to go to Merrimack versus other schools.
So my recruiting process with Merrimack really started back when I was at the Hill Academy. I was recruited by the old coaching staff here at Merrimack, Coach Carr, who's now at Bowling Green University. And my coach, Doug Orr, at the Hill Academy, had a pretty close relationship with Coach Carr here at Merrimack. And the Hill Academy had sent a few other players here to Merrimack, so there was that connection. And I remember Coach Carr came to watch me at one of the showcases down here in Boston. I can't recall which one exactly it was, but it really started then. And then over the course of that year progressed to Coach Carr and Merrimack offered me a scholarship to come to Merrimack and play. And it's something I couldn't pass down. I had visited Merrimack a few times over the course of that year, and I really loved the campus. And I'd met a few of the guys on my visit, and they really made me feel like Merrimack was a good place to come and welcome. And so I decided to announce that I was going to commit here, and it was a decision that I'm really happy I made.
Yeah, and what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to your game last year playing in college hockey?
So I think in college, at least in Hockey East, I found the USHL a lot more physical. So it wasn't as physical here, but the speed of the game and skill was higher. So I think that was one thing I had to adjust and get used to, just working on speed and whatnot. So I definitely say the speed of the game was a little faster than the USHL.
Now, you blocked 30 shots last year. How do you manage to block all those shots, and what's your secret to it?
Oh, wow. I didn't even know I blocked 30 last year. I guess our coach preaches blocking shots. So, I mean, like I said, I didn't even realize I blocked that many shots. So it just goes to show you that we work on it in practice, and that's part of our game. Like I said, we're not going to be the most skilled team, but we got to have really good habits, and blocking shots definitely a habit that we all need to have in our game. So.
Now, talk about the coaching staff that's there now, and what's it like playing under them, and have you learned anything that you didn't know about hockey before you were with the coaching staff now?
Yeah, no, playing for Coach Bork and Coach Siako and Jules has been a really good experience for me. I've learned a lot. They've taught me a lot over the year and a bit I've been here, and they've really helped progress my game to where it is today, for sure. We do extra skills sections, goalie skates, power skating. So the combination of all those things have definitely taught me a lot and helped progress my game, like I said, to where it is today.
Now, being a defender, who was the hardest player you have had to defend in college hockey?
Oh boy, let me think about that for a second. I would say the one that comes to mind right away might be Alex Newhook on BC.
Oh yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, he's a player that's pretty solid on his skates. He's got some good size to him, and he's got all the tools. He's got the skill. He's gritty, like he can play. So defending him is definitely not an easy task.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was shocked he is staying for this year. I thought he would have signed with Colorado already, so that's going to be interesting to see him play this year. Now, you scored your first collegiate goal against UMass. Talk about that, and what do you remember from that goal, and who did you call first?
Yeah, no, that was a great experience scoring at UMass. My old roommate, John Franco Casero, plays on UMass too. He was a freshman there last year, so it was kind of cool to score against his team. But no, I just remember I think we were trailing 1-0 or maybe 2-1, and it was late in the third. I think there was 2 minutes left, and we needed a goal bad to tie it. And I saw one of our players, I think it was Mac Welsher, come around. He carried it into the zone and brought it around, and I just kind of crept into the slot, and he hit me with an unbelievable pass, and I just caught it, and I almost blacked out. I just kind of put it on net, and it hit the post and went in, and everything else from there is a blur. Like it was just such a great experience, and I think I called my parents first after that, and they were pretty proud, and they were able to watch it on TV too. So it was just an all-around great experience.
That's awesome, man. Talk about what it's like to be a student athlete at a smaller university like Merrimack.
Honestly, it's a great experience. Being at a smaller school, um, it's just so, since it's smaller, it's just such a tight community. Like everyone knows everyone, and like you'll be walking in the dining hall and someone will come up to you and say like, good game last night or nice win. And it's a really cool experience. Just being a student athlete in general, I think it's an experience, an opportunity that that I really appreciate that I have. Obviously hockey is something I love, but while getting an education at the same time, it's just an experience that everyone should have, really.
Now, how do you balance the academics and hockey side of being a student athlete, and what's your secret to it?
I think just time management's really the big key for me. We practice and work out almost every day. So on top of having a few classes every day. So just making sure you have your time prioritized and managed well is the secret, and not procrastinating and wasting any time.
Now, your team didn't make the playoffs last year. Talk about what do you think went wrong, and what are you going to do this year to make the Hockey East playoffs?
So I think last year we had a few games where we were leading going into the third, and we for some reason couldn't close it out. And I hate using the excuse that we were a young team, because it's not an excuse with so many freshmen. But I think this year we're going to be a much more mature team, and I think that's a goal of our team this year, is to really learn how to win and be mature in those situations to close out tight games like that.
Now, what are your goals and expectations for yourself and for your team for this upcoming year?
So my goal for myself this year is just to be the best player I possibly can be, to help our team win as many games as possible. And I think if collectively we all strive to do that, we'll have a really good and successful season. I think our goal for our team, we have high expectations for our team this year, and um, we're ready to go. Uh, like I said earlier, we've had this extra long off season and been preparing for a while now, so we're just ready and excited to get things going. So I think our expectations are very high.
Now, I want to talk about one of your teammates. You get to play with Logan Drevich. What's he like as a teammate? And just talk about how good of a scorer he is, because he's one of the best goal scorers in Hockey East.
Yeah, Logie's a great guy to play with. He's super skilled, great teammate, great guy to be around. He's got a really positive attitude and good work ethic. Everyone loves being around him. Nothing but great things to say about that guy.
We're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast, and my first question to you is, what music do you like to listen to before a game that gets you fired up?
Definitely rap. I'm a big Quavo guy from the Migos, so I definitely say him, or really any rapper, the Baby, 21 Savage. That really gets me going before the game.
Nice. Now, what's your biggest pet peeve?
In general, or like before a game, or
Just in general.
uh, honestly, I hate procrastinating things. Like I'd probably say that, procrastinating. I hate doing that. I do it sometimes, and I can't stand it.
Yeah, I do that a lot too, so it's something that I need to work on. Now, being from Canada, what's your favorite outdoor activity you'd like to do?
Uh, Probably like in the winter, or just in general.
Just in general, yeah.
Um, like I said, I live on a river, and I got a fishing boat. So me and my dad go out fishing all the time, and I love to do that. I love spending nights in the summer on the river and catching fish with him.
Now, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh boy. Um, Geez. Let's come back to that one.
Okay.
Give me a second to think about that.
I'll ask you at the end of the interview. Now,
Okay.
who has the best style on the team besides yourself?
Besides myself, that's tough because I got pretty good style. But you mean off the ice or on the rink?
Let's do both.
Um, Geez. On the rink, I think it's me. But if I had to give a second, uh, probably Christian Simeone. He's got good hair. Flows out the back of his helmet pretty nice. Also, he's got good back tuck on his skates. Good tape job. So all around, he checks all the boxes. Off the ice, I hate to say this, but probably Regan Kimmins.
Yeah.
When he hears this, he's gonna laugh. But yeah, probably Regan Kimmins.
I think Yuri Hutala has some good style too. I've seen him play. He has some nice pads.
Yeah, he does. He does. I wasn't even thinking the goalie route, but yeah, he does have some good style on him.
Now, what advice would you give younger players trying to pursue Division I college hockey?
The advice I'd give them is just stay consistent. I mean, getting a scholarship is definitely something that's not easy, but I mean, if you really put your mind to it and stay consistent and trust the process and work every day at it, like big things can happen for you. So I definitely say that.
Now, what should I do better as an interviewer to improve and make this podcast better?
Honestly, I think you've done a great job. I've really enjoyed this. Something to improve. No, I think you've done an excellent job. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the kind words. Now, is there any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your teammates?
Oh boy. Yeah, I'll shout out my direct roommate, Zach Fennell. He's not here right now, but yeah, I'll give him a shout out. He deserves it.
Now, I'm going to come back to the question. If you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Let's go with Quavo.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I love listening to his music, and I think spending a lunch with him would be a pretty cool experience, and talking to him and seeing what he has to say would be kind of cool.
Nice. Now, one thing we do with all of our guests is we have them introduce themselves to start the pod. So I was wondering if you can just say, hi, I'm Liam Dennison from Merrimack, and you're listening to College Hockey Talk.
Okay. Just now.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Liam Dennison, and hi, I'm Liam Dennison from Merrimack College, and this is College Hockey Talk. That?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Liam Dennison from Merrimack College, and this is College Hockey Talk.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Liam. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure getting the chance to meet and talk with you, and stay safe and good luck this upcoming season. I'm definitely going to be watching you guys play and promoting you guys as much as I can.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on.